For centuries, two titans of the sea, Venice and Genoa, battled for control of the Mediterranean. Their rivalry was a saga of commerce, power, and spectacular naval clashes. But every story has an end, and for this great maritime duel, the final decisive chapter was written in the waters off Greece. This is the story of the Battle of Modon, the last great stand of Genoa and the moment Venice cemented its golden age. This wasn't just another battle. It was the explosive climax of years of simmering tension. The year is 1403, and Venetian merchants are furious. Genoese pirates are plundering their shipping lanes, and to make matters worse, the Genoese fleet itself, led by a fiery French marshal named Boucicaut, has just sacked the city of Beirut. The problem? Most of the looted treasure belonged to Venetian traders. For Venice, this was a direct assault on its wealth and honor. The Venetian Republic responded by dispatching its most formidable admiral, the brilliant and patient Carlo Zeno. He was given a clear mission: protect Venetian trade and punish the Genoese. While Boucicaut was busy on his crusade of conquest along the Levantine coast, Zeno was playing a much smarter game. He knew Boucicaut's fleet would have to sail past Venetian territory on its way home. So, instead of chasing him across the sea, Zeno did something strategically genius. He positioned his fleet at the Venetian naval base of Modon, in southern Greece, and simply waited. He wasn't just patrolling, he was setting a perfect trap. Now, let's look at the commanders. On one side you have Marshal Boucicaut, a man driven by crusading zeal and personal glory. His campaign was aggressive, ambitious, and ultimately distracted. He was so focused on raiding cities and projecting French power through Genoa that he seems to have completely underestimated the fury of the Venetians he had provoked. He was sailing home, laden with plunder, straight into the lion's den. On the other side stood Carlo Zeno, the seasoned Venetian admiral. Zeno was the opposite of Boucicaut. He wasn't on a quest for glory. He was a defender of the Republic's interests. His decision to wait at Modon shows his cool, calculated approach. He wasn't reacting to Boucicaut, he was anticipating him. He chose the time and place for this confrontation, a classic move of a master strategist ensuring the battle would be fought on his terms. On paper, the fleets looked remarkably even. Both Venice and Genoa brought 11 galleys to the fight, the fast, oar-powered warships that dominated Mediterranean naval combat. But Venice had a secret weapon. While Genoa had 2 transports, ships designed to carry cargo, Venice had 2 round ships. These were sturdier, taller vessels, effectively floating castles. Their high decks gave archers and soldiers a massive advantage, and their strong hulls could smash through enemy formations. This seemingly small difference in their fleet composition would prove to be the single most decisive factor in the battle to come. One of these round ships, the Pisana, was about to become a legend. On the morning of October 7, 1403, the Genoese fleet weighed anchor and began to move. Zeno's lookouts spotted them immediately. The trap was sprung. The Venetian galleys surged out of the Bay of Modon, cutting off any chance of escape. The battle began with incredible ferocity. The 2 flagships rammed into each other, and the conflict immediately devolved into a desperate, bloody melee. Zeno and Boucicaut themselves were reportedly in the thick of the hand-to-hand fighting on deck. It was chaos, a whirlwind of steel, wood, and shouting men. But while the main fight raged, the battle's true turning point came from Venice's secret weapon. The Venetian round ship, the Pisana, lumbered into the fray. Too tall for the Genoese to easily board and bristling with soldiers, it was a fortress amidst the waves. The Pisana, maneuvered with deadly purpose and in a single, stunning action, captured not 1, not 2, but 3 Genoese galleys. Imagine the psychological shock. In a matter of minutes, Genoa had lost nearly a third of its fleet to a single enemy ship. Morale shattered. The Genoese line broke. Seeing his fleet disintegrating around him, Boucicaut had no choice but to sound the retreat. It was a swift, brutal, and utterly decisive Venetian victory. The aftermath tells the whole story. The Genoese losses were catastrophic: 600 men killed or wounded, and another 300 captured. They lost 3 of their finest galleys. And Venice? They suffered no ships lost and only 153 men wounded. It wasn't just a victory, it was an annihilation. Boucicaut, humiliated, managed to capture a lone Venetian merchant ship on his way home, a petty act of revenge that did nothing to change the strategic reality. The Battle of Modon was a disaster for Genoa. The long-term consequences were even more profound. Genoa, plagued by internal political strife, would never again mount a major challenge to Venetian supremacy in the eastern Mediterranean. The Battle of Modon was the end of their rivalry, the final blow that confirmed Venice as the undisputed Queen of the Seas. But history never stands still. This victory, which secured Venice's dominance, also created a power vacuum. With Genoa out of the picture, a new, far more formidable power was rising in the east, the Ottoman Empire. Venice had won the war against its old rival, only to find itself facing a new, existential threat that would define its next several centuries. The Battle of Modon is a masterclass in strategy, patience, and exploiting your enemy's weaknesses. It marks the end of one great historical chapter and the dramatic beginning of another. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into naval history, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories like this one. We'll see you in the next video.